totally irresponsible parenting.
Not according to the internet.
Where on the internet?
Dax, it's time for your bath.
But I missed my show.
Don't argue with me, young man. Just do it.
This is our dad.
I'm the professor.
Yeah, he made us in his laboratory by accident. Don't worry, Professor. I was an accident, too.
You're my children, and I love you, but you're all terrible.
Hello, and welcome to Geek Parenting Podcast. Damn it. I thought I was going to do this all professional-like. This is James, a.k.a. Nerdy at Home Dad. We're sitting here recording at Watchtower Cafe, the geekiest coffee shop in the Salt Lake Valley.
Possibly the entire world.
Yes, and we are at 15...
Christendom.
What?
Christendom.
That's only during Christmas season.
Oh, okay. That's when it's Christmas.
Christmas.
Non-spiritual people.
I don't even know what's going on here.
But we are at 1588 South State Street in Salt Lake City, across the street from Salt Lake Community College.
There's like hair on my microphone. Sorry, guys.
Send it back to the cook.
Ooh. Yeah, come get some drinks.
Yeah.
They got some good drinks here. Good coffee.
And I just had Musu Baby for breakfast, so that was
Musu babies are delicious. So today we are going to talk about quite a few things. We're going to talk San Diego Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going no particular order with how we're going to talk about these things.
Yeah, you have to stay tuned in to find out the order.
Yes.
Because that's how I roll.
It's our riddle.
I roll like Wrecking Ball in Overwatch.
Is that his name? Wrecking
Yeah.
Ball? I thought it was Hammond.
Well, that's his name, but
okay.
his hero name is Wrecking Ball.
Okay.
His ball translates for his little squeaks.
Aww.
That's cool.
It's funny.
That's cute.
But we're going to talk Shazam. We're going to talk.
What powers do your balls have? Tune in. Let us know on the comments.
Do your balls sound like Adam West? Mine do.
So this is probably going to be a not safe for work episode, guys.
It already is.
I'm talking about just this ball I have at my house. It sounds like Adam West.
This is not safe for anyone.
Jeez.
Sorry,
Come
Stefan.
on.
Mine looks like BB-8 and rolls around. It's a Sphero. You pervert.
But yeah.
Sarah. Way to bring us down.
So we're talking Shazam. We're talking Teen Titans Go to the Movies. We're talking Infinity War stuff.
Yeah.
And I already mentioned San Diego Comic-Con. But then we're going to talk parenting.
What?
We're going to talk about free-range
Mr.
parenting.
At-Home Dad, I don't feel good.
Organic free-range parenting.
Organic, yeah.
Grass-fed.
All natural.
Organic, grass-fed, free-range parenting at your local Whole Foods or market.
My kids are robots. There's no organic components.
But we're going to compare helicopter parenting and free-range parenting and talk a little bit about...
Oh, man. When you said helicoptering, that is not what I envisioned.
Stop it.
Damn it.
God damn it.
Sorry,
Where was
Stefan, again.
Oh, my God. Stefan.
We're comparing stuff, and it's about parenting. So here we go. Introductions. Sitting podcast left to me.
Wait, did you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
At the beginning. So they
He's
knew.
James, Sarah James.
Hi.
So,
nice to meet you.
so they knew who was talking. I mean, I know I have an annoying voice, and they're like, "Oh, that's James."
I think
Okay.
the person who brings it in should be the last person introduced.
Oh.
Like you bring it around.
Bring it
Like,
around
and
town.
then we finish with
Okay,
you.
we're starting over.
Oh.
Okay, scratch everything you just heard.
Everything that you've ever known.
Sitting podcast left to
Woofer.
me, the mother of the podcast.
Yep, pushed it out my woofer.
Not just our podcast, a few podcasts, and she'll tell you about those podcasts here in a minute.
Triplets.
Yep.
Well, I guess they were born, like, not at the same time.
No.
So we're
No,
the
they're
oldest.
born-
We're the
Haven't you
oldest
watched
child.
Haven't you watched Maury Povich though? There are times when ladies say these are triplets, but they're like 3 years apart. So
Yeah, that doesn't work that way.
hey, I'm just going by Maury because that's what
Okay.
I watch on TV,
Gotcha.
and if it's on TV, it's true.
Jerry.
I can't find Phil anywhere.
So this is Dr. Sarah. You can find me on Instagram as Dr. Peace, Twitter Dr. Peace SH. On Twitch, you can find me as Love is Like Pie. You can find me here in Geek Parenting Podcast. You can also find me on Push My Buttons Podcast, talking about all things gaming. And occasionally you'll hear me on Heroes Feast, because I'm no longer working where I was playing with those guys, but I am still producing the podcast for them. But
Hey, how
that's
did
where
that
you can
your gameplay go at Gaming
it went really good. We actually had quite a few people
And
filter
were
in.
you able to record? Like,
Yeah,
get a good recording?
yeah, I got a good
Did you
recording.
guys post it?
I haven't posted it yet.
Yeah, because Gaming Con is like trying to push those recordings
Okay.
and stuff. So.
Yeah, then I'll get it up. So
Cool.
That's what she said.
Like a
Yeah.
spam can.
Stop it.
podcast kitty corner for me is Mr. Mike Tui and
Oh, we're going that way? We're going
Yeah.
diagonal kitty
Yeah.
corner? Hey.
Tic-tac-toe.
I'm Tui the Human, the Wookiee barista of State Street, father of 5 gremlins. One of the gremlins now is like a young adult because
Oh
the
my
mermaid
gosh,
is now
that's right.
18. And it's so nice having an 18-year-old. I thought, like, I was a little worried, but it's kind of nice because I worry less. Johnny, you can relate with this, right?
Oh, yeah.
They kind of grow up a little bit, and it's like, well, I always worry about
You
my
screw
kids.
up, you're on your own now, fool.
I'm always going to worry about them, but
Yeah.
like I don't have to keep tabs on them like I used to, and it's a little bit nice because she's on her own now, and so that's cool. You can find me at Watchtower Cafe. I'm the head janitor in charge,
Usually killing spiders.
killing spiders, mopping the floors.
Not the one,
And
not
that
the one
ended
that
up
made
being
that, apparently.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Wow, that's
Don't-
cool.
don't show
Just
that
look
to
at a
Corey.
spider web.
Yep.
We're gonna have a big comic book sale on August 4th. I hope this episode's released before then.
It will be. It'll be released
So
just this
August 4th, Saturday from 12 to 5, come to Watchtower Cafe. We're going to be selling tons of comics. Single issues will be $1. We're going to do $2 off of all trades and graphic novels. We have a bunch of used books, manga, and I said manga like a white man.
Yeah.
Mangalore.
Manga. Nah. Anyways, come get some comics and some coffee and some Musa babies.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Podcast to my podcast right of me in the bushes.
Who freaked the hell out of us last night.
Yeah. The window popping face man himself,
Like
Johnny.
I literally shat myself.
I was there when he cleaned it up.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
I'm Johnny Von the Board. You can find me in your bay window.
Your Michael Bay window.
You
With
find me in the
explosions.
bushes.
I don't know why I said that. That was dumb.
You can find me on the social media as White Enchilada 1. That is the number 1. There's not enough characters to spell it out. You can try if you'd like.
And you probably played one of the best beams last night.
Oh, yeah. We
It
were
was
playing
perfect.
The Meme Game Disney Edition.
Yeah, you'll have to go on our Instagram account to see what that was. 'Cause
I
really
got the
good.
perfect. I got all the weird peeping cards, but it was kind of appropriate.
Yeah.
Very.
Hey, wait, you did get all like the peeping cards. It was. You didn't set that up, did
The
you?
universe
No.
knows.
The universe knows.
Cards tell all.
It's like tarot.
Yeah.
Tarot.
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 Carrots.
Parrots. What are we talking about?
Parrots.
Is it parrots or carrots?
Wait, did you introduce yourself?
Yeah. Shallots.
Shall. And coming back to me to introduce myself again. Like I said, I'm James, a.k.a. Nerdy at Home Dad. You can find me at Nerdy at Home Dad across the social media boards. Jay and I are going to be doing more stuff on Twitch. We're going to work on some YouTube content. We're
They're going to
doing...
create their own strain of con crud.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Where Jay wants
And
to
then
start
you need to
designing
create the
T-shirts.
cure to the con crud.
Ooh, we'll sell them at Watchtower.
So, yeah. So, be on the lookout for those. I think we're just going to do... Like, we'll probably buy some... We're going to go, like, Zazzle, so people just go and buy them themselves, and then we get
Oh,
a
there you go.
portion
Then
of
we
it.
won't sell them at Watchtower.
But we'll buy... So, we can buy
A whole
a few
bunch.
of them and then bring them over.
And
And
we will sell them at Watchtower.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Stay
So,
tuned to find out.
yeah, we just decided that we're going to try to make money now.
Doing stuff.
Yeah.
Good.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
that money.
We've been doing this for 5 years,
But
so...
you've seen Teen Titans go. Money is the root of all that's evil. Unless you want a Belle Biv DeVoe poster.
Well, you know, that girl is poison.
Never trust a big button to smile.
Bum, ba-da, bum, ba-da, ba-da, bum.
Oh, dear God.
Where are we starting?
Shazam!
At the beginning.
Shazam!
Johnny needs
Okay,
to
you had some
Shazam explain
questions.
us. Okay, so I've never read Shazam, but it's originally Captain Marvel, right?
Right.
What?
And
So-
he
How
was-
does that work?
He was
So
the
he was
original
Captain Marvel. He actually outsold Superman like big, but DC sued Fawcett Comics, who published the Shazam comic, because they said, "Oh, they just copied our guy," and since the courts were stupid. And,
So it wasn't part of DC.
no, this was way before everyone conglomerated.
Gotcha.
So they won that suit. They pretty much shut down the original Captain Marvel, and then ended up acquiring him and not doing anything with him.
Oh, wow.
And as soon as they could legally pounce on using that name, I think in the 70s, maybe the 60s, I don't recall, Marvel jumped on it and started using Captain Marvel. So in the 70s, when DC decided to use who is now Shazam, they became embroiled in a lawsuit, and just a few years ago gave up.
So
they let Captain.
So the
years ago?
Marvel
Holy crap.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, Marvel is the Captain Marvel now, and
but which
DC's
one came
became
first?
Shazam. Oh, who is now Shazam came way before.
Way before.
But they didn't use the character for so long that they lost the right to the name.
And so,
Oh, okay.
was there anyone that was like part of the creation of Captain Marvel, or was it just like a Marvel saying we're going to use this name?
Yeah, they just saw that it was available to use and used
So
it.
it's not like the Deadpool situation where it was kind of like a
They copied it.
friendly
Yeah.
jab at
Yeah.
like some homies saying like he's
No,
gonna be
they're Marvel
Slade
Comics,
Wilson's
and they wanted
cousin.
to use the Captain Marvel name.
Gotcha.
There's Captain Marvel. There was the Captain Marvel during the original Identity, or not Secret
Mm-hmm.
Wars, and there's been a few of them, but we
So
finally
confusing.
Carol Danvers.
legal stuff. But
Yeah.
so I don't know much about the character other than what's been on like some of the DC animated movies, like the Justice League, DC animated, Shazam, the movie. He's in a couple of those, and he had a like years ago there was like the DC like did like vignettes of different characters,
Right.
They're like Jonah Hex and.
As far as power set, I mean,
And
like
Shazam had one,
He's
and
got
that's all I
strength.
know.
He's got flight. He could go toe to toe physically with Superman, but
But what I like about Shazam is that he's a kid.
right,
Yeah, how old is he?
Yeah.
Like 12?
10, 12, somewhere in there.
I like that. So he's
Yeah.
a kid,
And then when he calls
says a
upon his
magic word.
powers, he's
He
an
gets
adult.
ultimate.
He's
But
an
he
adult
still
body.
has
So
the
he's basically-
mindset of a kid, so it's kind of
So he's like Tom Hanks with a cape.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Basically.
There you go. Yeah.
See, and I know nothing about Shazam other than what I saw in that trailer.
And the trailer, like
The trailer basically tells you his
Yeah.
origin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that pretty true to the character himself? Like, is he?
Yeah,
kind
he
of
was
like
he was a good-hearted kid who's an orphan. He wants to make it on his own. This one went a little more. Looks like it's going a little more with the New 52, where he's not. He's got a good heart, but in the New 52, he was still kind of a shit.
trouble kid. Well,
Yeah.
he's a teenager or
So-
preteen.
Yeah.
So instead of just being the fresh face, kind of like with your Power Ranger thing, the movie made them a little less.
Wholesome.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Less good, less.
Not necessarily less good, just less wholesome.
More
Human.
more appropriate to the teenage,
Yeah.
More
preteen,
realistic.
yeah,
More real.
yeah.
So it's he is chosen by the wizard Shazam, and that's where the name
Magical.
originally came from. Who imbues him with these powers of 7 mythical figures. I don't know. That's a rough one because some of them are biblical. People believe that. People don't. I don't know. But anyway, it's let's see if I can remember them all. Oh my gosh, Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus,
Oh, so those are all of the.
Mercury, and I forget the other A.
They're all
like
gods?
Greek, they're all Greek gods. then.
Athena?
Well, Solomon
Artemis?
is
And Solomon is
biblical.
like King
King
Solomon.
Solomon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
had
wisdom
powers?
of Solomon.
He didn't have
He had
powers.
strength.
He had wisdom.
Oh, wisdom, yeah.
Remember he cut his hair?
No, that was
Uses it
Samson.
as- oh,
Samson.
that was Samson. That's right. Never
I want
mind.
to talk to Samson.
I don't know all about Bible stories.
Samson
Sorry.
Simpson. Samson
That's right.
Simpson.
Samson and Delilah. I remember now.
Right near the beach.
Samson was the original Rasta. He had dreadlocks.
Yeah.
But apparently,
Yeah.
since they're doing a movie, Shazam is finally getting his own title from DC Comics starting
Written
in
by Jeff
November.
Johns.
And it looks good.
Yeah, I need to call Black Cat Comics and get that shoved in my box.
I'll shove it in your box.
Like a spam can.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
So when we saw the trailer, Jay was really excited because so he likes Shazam from all the Justice League cartoons
Right.
and from
Same with
like
my kids, too.
the things that he's seen of Shazam.
Yeah, one of my favorites was the Shazam Superman. I think it's a short film. It's not a full length movie,
Yeah.
but that's a pretty good introduction if you want
Yeah.
to start there.
But like so Jay remembers Zachary Levi from Comic-Con
Yep.
and just like heckling the shit out of him while he was reading a book to kids.
What did
Joe
Zachary
did?
Levi do? Did Zachary Levi say anything to him?
He just laughed.
He just ran
He
off
was just
crying.
laughing.
You guys are so mean.
But the other thing that happened was the kid who plays Billy, he is in Andy Mack.
Oh.
Okay.
And Jay loves Andy Mack. He loves that show.
Ah.
And he's a big fan of the actor who plays Billy.
Oh, cool.
So, like, Jay's like, this has two of my favorite actors in it, and they're playing the same character. I'm in.
Nice.
But it looks
I don't know.
like it's going to be hilarious.
I'm sure the kid will be fine, but in the grand scheme, he's pretty inconsequential.
Right, yeah. No, it's
Until he gets tricked into saying, Shazam and being powerless.
Uh-oh.
mid-flight.
Oh, no. Does that happen a lot to him?
Well, in one of the films, I forget, one of the animated films, he was like, oh, man, I've got all these cool powers. And he's just flying over the ocean.
Oh,
and all
no.
I had to do was say Shazam,
Oh,
and he gets hit and he drops.
right. Yeah.
I
but
think they kind of retconned that a little in the comics. I think now he's supposed to say it with, like, purpose. He has to, like, mean it when he's
Yeah.
saying it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
Otherwise, he introduces himself and,
Hi, I'm Shazam,
sorry,
yep.
I'm a 10-year-old kid.
The funny thing is you look at
Son, you've got a condition.
you look at Flashpoint Paradox, because they changed it up a little bit in Flashpoint Paradox. The how Shazam happens. Like in Flashpoint, it's like 10 or 12 kids that all say Shazam together, and they
One
form-
superhero? That's
yeah.
kind
It's
of
like
weird.
Voltron.
Oh, maybe
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like the new comic where. So I was reading this, and this I'm getting a little in the weeds here, but anyway.
Well, you are always out in the weeds.
I am in the
bushes,
weeds. So the Shazam is the only one that has the power of all 7 of these mythical
Gods.
whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call them.
Beings.
Yes, beings. And apparently there are 7 others who each have one of those powers. And maybe it's like that. They all have one of the powers, but they're like the Voltron of Shazam.
Yeah.
So
That's what we're going to call this, the Voltron
the
of
Voltron
Shazam.
of Shazam. It's like 5 mini Shazams coming together to be one big Shazam.
5 little...
All formed a head.
Oh, boy. But yeah, I can't wait for the comic. I can't wait for the movie. People hopefully will finally stop asking me if it's a damn Power Rangers tattoo on my arm.
Is it a Power Rangers tattoo?
Yes, it is.
Oh, well, the lightning bolt, right?
Yeah.
Then how come your phone notifications isn't... Dun, 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 dun? That's going to be mine. I'm going to change my text tone to that for everybody.
Mine's still...
I never got into Power Rangers.
So are
I
you-
saw the movie. I liked it. That's about as much
Are
as
you
I
excited
watched.
for Shazam then?
No, I saw the 2 movies. I am.
You are.
I saw the original movie with the original... Well, not the original cast, but the one with Ivan Ooze, Freddie Oozger, and the new one with...
You mean Apocalypse from Days
Yeah.
of Future Past, right?
and the one with Billy from Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah.
Billy Mullets.
Yep. The bad kid.
I really
Billy
like that.
Badstash.
I really like that Power Rangers movie.
I still haven't seen it.
I hope that now that Hasbro owns the rights to Power Rangers, that they make another one.
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
Yeah, I
it'll be
haven't
in
seen
with
it yet
it'll
either.
be in with the god awful Transformers though. They want a Hasbro verse.
What are they trying for that? Gross.
Gross. Super
Michael
gross.
Bayverse.
Yeah, they talked about like making like all the like. They talked about like going in the vault and like finding a lot of obscure shows that were on like for Saturday morning cartoons
I'm down for that.
that they want to turn
lot
that
of
Michael Bay
Sell Our-
wants to turn into
A
movies.
lot of
Oh,
Sell
I'm
Our
not okay with
Toys
that.
shows.
Yeah.
Ugh,
I mean,
I'm not happy.
all we need now in 2020 is Michael Bay's G.I. Joe Transformers crossover.
Oh, Jesus, no.
Whatever.
Okay, we need to get rid of
I
James
already
Cameron and his
forgot about
Hasbro.
it.
We need to get rid of, James Cameron and his Avatar, and then Michael Bay and his Hasbro, and we might be okay.
Yep.
I am a Saturday morning cartoon enthusiast. Purist.
And keep M. Night Shyamalan from any sort of...
Shamalama then?
Apparently, I read something that he was working on a sequel to Last Airbender,
Ugh.
Gross.
and it's
Because the
like,
last
isn't
one
that
worked out
kid
so
like
well.
40 now?
Close to our age.
But yeah, so moving on. I went and saw Teen Titans Go to the movies.
They call me Mr. Glass.
And it was spectacular. Like, it is hilarious.
We were going to go watch it yesterday, and the Hylian kind of put a damper on it because he poo-pooed it. He took a shit all over it because he doesn't like Teen Titans Go. He's a big fan of the original Teen Titans cartoon, which I also am.
Oh, yes.
And I love the original cartoon.
You should have just made him go where
Teen
he's
Titans
grounded.
Go is great.
You're like, hey, you know what?
It's hilarious.
You know what? They're Hylian. If you loved it so much, you should have bought the toys because that's why it went away. Because it wasn't selling toys. Suck it.
Yeah.
Burn.
So we couldn't convince him to come with us to go watch the movie. And I was trying to do something with all the kids before they went down to their mom's house. But just decided to not go. Maybe I'll force him. I will invoke my parental right of.
He's not big enough that you can't hog tie him yet.
It's
Yep.
true.
I could pick him up.
I mean,
and
my
throw him in
mom
the
still
car.
threatens to beat me, so.
Threatens.
He is relatively small. You probably could very
He's
easily
skinny.
pick him up.
Yes.
And,
Yeah, he's going through a growth spurt.
oh, is he?
Yeah, he's shot up. He's
Oh,
tall, but he's
boy.
still skinny.
Yeah.
Lanky.
Lanky.
Yep.
So flick his kneecap and bust it.
Yep.
Yeah. So tell us about Teen Titans Go.
So there are so many Easter eggs in Teen Titans Go. Like, they go like super obscure with characters that you see in the movie.
Like Condiment Man and Lego Batman.
Yeah. Like they go
Ketchup and
well,
mustard.
let me see. They
Egghead.
Condiment King.
Oh, there you go.
I took a.
He's
I was
the
just trying
king.
not to say condom, okay?
Let me see. Oh,
Prophylactic
come on,
Man. That's not real yet.
they so there's a lot of voice actors in this because pretty much everybody who's cameoing in it gets at least one word in, and like Patton Oswalt is Adam.
The Atom.
Yeah. So they have Control Freak.
Okay.
They have where is he?
Come on, James.
The Challengers of the Unknown.
You got this. Did you take
I've never
pictures of
even
the
heard of that.
credits?
No, I found this online
Oh,
because
okay.
somebody the guy who voiced Control Freak, Alexander Polinsky, he tweeted at Patton Oswalt and he said, "Who is this asshole whose name crept between Patton Oswalt and his did he get remarried or is it his girlfriend?"
I think it's just his girlfriend right now.
So she's in
recall.
it. She voices Supergirl. But so it's Patton Oswalt and Alexander Polinsky and then Meredith Salinger. And so I took this from Patton Oswalt because he just tweeted back, "How dare you?" But they have... so the reason why I went through and took a screenshot of this is because we talked about how not only are there DC like Easter eggs and stuff, there's a lot of Marvel references in the movie. Like straight, they call Deathstroke Deadpool like throughout the movie. There's other hero names that are dropped. There's a Stan Lee cameo that I wasn't sure if it was Stan Lee, but in the credits he is credited as himself.
Really?
That's pretty gutsy.
That's not allowed.
That's awesome.
That's pretty
That's
gutsy.
breaking the rules.
And like they
They're
poke
showing Deadpool how to break the fourth wall.
Oh my
Oh, yeah.
god, yeah, and like it's so funny because like you look at like DC movies and how they right now they're all super serious. They all don't poke fun at themselves.
Until Shazam, woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Teen Titans Go pokes fun at every DC movie made.
So what you're saying is it's the best DC movie ever made.
Yes, I'll say that on the podcast.
Whoa.
So the funny thing,
Hey, I will fight you. Swamp Thing was an amazing movie.
Not as amazing as the Swamp Thing
is in
TV
this
show.
movie.
He better be.
But so funny thing is like so you see this in the trailer, so this isn't a spoiler.
Fun note: Swamp Thing was another legal embroilment they had
Yeah.
that just recently got solved in the last
That,
decade.
that was with Universal, right?
It was a big mess.
But they so in the trailer, Robin asks everybody if they have their own movie, and Superman, who is played by Nick Cage. Sorry, I just have to say that because I've wanted
James
this.
Nicholas
said it.
Coppola.
James
Yes.
said it. You got a Superman as Nick Cage.
But so
Superman.
Superman's like, yes, I have a lot of movies, and Wonder Woman says, you know, it took a while, but I finally have one. And then it's Jon Stewart Green Lantern, and he
Who's
says,
he voiced by? Do you know?
Little Yahtzee, a rapper.
Oh.
Little Yachty.
Yachty, yeah.
Really?
He's funny.
I just hate him.
Just
I
doing a
hate
few
Yachty.
lines. It was funny. But so they do the Green Lantern thing. He's like, there was a Green Lantern movie. We don't talk about it. And he looks really sad. Just we don't talk about it. But then the whole point of the movie is that the Teen Titans are trying to get their own movie. Because Batman has a movie, his utility belt has a movie, the Batmobile has a movie, but they don't they don't have a movie because
We ain't got a movie.
they're just sidekicks. Mm-hmm. So they sneak onto a lot, and there's a Batman vs Superman thing happening, and they're making Batman vs Superman 2.
Oh, Jesus.
And they're fighting, and Batman says, "What's the name of your mother?"
I didn't mean to stop the show. Jesus. Thanks, James.
I'll edit it.
No, he won't.
But so they're like just grappling and fighting, and Batman goes, "What's your mother's name?" And Superman says, "Martha." And Batman goes, "My mommy's name's Martha too." And then they like hug it out and stuff, and then Batman says, "Wait, what's your father's name?" And what's Clark's dad's name?
Pa
Pa
Kent.
Kent. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's Richard.
Henry?
But he says
Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner.
Francis.
But
Francis?
So Superman says whatever his dad's name is,
Cecil.
and Batman goes, "My father's name is Thomas," and then he punches Superman in the face.
Now I gotta look it up. Superman's dad's name. Not Jor-El. We want the other dad.
Not Colin.
His adoptive father.
Jonathan.
Jonathan.
Jonathan. Oh, yeah. I knew that.
It's one of those things that you know, but it's like in the
I just don't
deep recesses of your
care
brain.
enough about
Francis.
Superman.
Yeah.
Ajax Kent.
But so I highly recommend this movie for everybody. If you're a DC fan, you should definitely
What
see
if
this
you're
movie.
not a super huge DC fan? What if you just
I think
like
you should.
it?
I think you should go see it.
Okay.
I think Lily will like it
Then you're
because
missing out.
this is the thing. This movie it's 93 minutes, and about 75 minutes of those are fart jokes.
Oh,
I
that's
don't
fantastic.
think you see Firestorm.
Okay.
At least
Firestorm?
I'll look.
You probably see him in the
background.
Yeah,
Is
but
there
he doesn't
Aquaman
have a
representation?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm sure they
that's
poke
all I need
fun.
to know.
Aquaman's getting his own movie. We should get a
That's
movie.
all I
There-
need to
Yeah,
know.
seriously.
There is some funny stuff with Aquaman.
Oh boy.
Well, I really-
I'm in.
in Young Justice, I really liked, what do they call him? Calderon?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's so we were talking about like Teen Titans and that stuff. You know, there was a lot of talk on the internet about Young Justice and Teen Titans coming back, or one or the other coming back. And all I'll say is stay for the after credit stuff, because they straight up answer which one's coming back.
Well, when they made the original Teen Titans cartoon, they wanted to do Doom Patrol, and I'd like to see that. Although Doom Patrol does get pretty weird, so I don't know how or where they would do that. But that would be fun.
Oh, and then the opening sequence is just amazing,
Yeah.
because they like try to do like the Marvel thing with the flipping through the comic books.
Oh Lord!
And it's like the Teen Titans comic books, but it's like a seagull reading the comic.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
So it's definitely a movie that I would suggest everybody taking their kids. Oh, but what I was saying is that 80 minutes of this movie, 75 to 80 minutes of this movie is just butt and fart jokes.
That's perfect. This is perfect for 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds.
And so
dads.
When I went, there was like maybe 6 or 7 adults and just a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
And you could hear some of the older people, and I think it was grandparents.
Oh.
Like within the first 5 minutes, you get like 90-second fart joke.
Oh, jeez.
And you could hear the older people like, ugh, like verbally groaning. And you could hear all the kids just, "This is the best thing ever."
That's funny. We need to cut James off because he's giving away too much of the movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Farts are
Move
funny.
on.
No more.
Move on.
Point is, farts are funny.
Yes.
Yes. How many farts would you rate it out of a 5 fart rating?
Out of a 5 fart rating, 4.5.
4.5.
With a little squirt at
Ford
the
a
end.
squeaker.
With a little check your drawers at the end.
The little Johnny's at the window.
4.5 with a Hershey's Kiss.
Oh.
4 and a rosebud.
Oh, man.
And
I should go rewrite my blog post
right.
about that and use that as my rating system.
Let's talk Comic-Con.
San Diego Comic-Con happened.
Yep, it sure did.
A lot of
What?
stuff. A lot of stuff came out. Not a lot of no Marvel stuff because Marvel didn't do.
Yeah, they didn't do much of anything. I was
They-
at
they
least
Don't have to.
yeah,
But
They-
I was at least hoping we would get
So-
a glimpse of Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I
So
would
this
have
is the
liked
thing.
some teasers there.
When's D23? Isn't it like
oh,
August?
Yeah, that's in August,
You're-
I think.
Good point. That's probably when they're gonna
So
do
that's the thing.
We don't need
Marvel,
you. We got our
Actually, I
own.
don't think they're doing D23 this year.
Ooh.
I think they skipped a year. Let me see.
But this is the thing. So comics wise, Marvel said that they want to focus more on representation at New York Comic Con because that's where their comics branch
Cool.
is located at.
Right.
Oh, wait, they are doing D23.
They are bringing back the Fantastic Four comic though.
I heard.
Yes.
Finally.
Yes.
That's what I heard.
And then
So D23 is starts August 23rd.
yeah, so that's where you'll get all your Marvel trailers and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So they no longer need San Diego.
They don't.
But there was a Shield presence. They had a presence for the Secret Warriors TV show that's going to come out. So that's the Quake, Squirrel Girl, who else?
Quake, I love that game.
Cloak and Dagger
Oh, yeah.
are going to be in it.
Cuckoo.
Which, if you're not watching Cloak and Dagger, you
It's really
need to
good.
fix that.
Yeah.
And yes, the boy's named Aubrey for some reason, and that weirds me out.
The actor, you mean?
Yeah.
He's good, though.
Oh, no, he's
really
good.
You know what, though? I feel like the first few episodes...
I feel like if he started singing, he would be very reminiscent of Humpty Hump, but
he sings in the... Well, it's a song that he sings
I'm one
that
episode
plays in
behind.
the...
Actually, this is incorrect. It says tickets for the 2019 Expo will go on sale August 23rd. So I don't think they're doing an Expo this year.
yeah, either way, they don't need
Yeah.
Yeah.
San Diego.
Either way,
They're
we'll
pretty
just get a
well
YouTube
established.
trailer soon
Yeah.
for Captain Marvel, since it comes out in November.
Does it come out in November? I thought it came out right before. Does Captain Marvel come out in November? I might be able to go see it on my Disney
Didn't realize it was
cruise.
this year.
Yeah, Captain Marvel should be out in November. Infinity War Endgame comes out May. And then Spider-Man Homecoming 2 comes out July of next
And
year.
then we've got Aquaman in December and Shazam in April.
This is March 8th, 2019 for Captain
Oh,
Marvel.
they moved it then.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So that's like...
There was another March movie.
It was Black Panther. Well, Black Panther came out like
No.
February, March.
There's a March 2019 movie that's. What was it? What's coming out in March that I'm excited
March of the
about?
Penguins, The Revengeing.
No,
I can look it
no.
up.
Anyways,
This time it's personal. They're coming after Morgan Freeman now.
Oh, God.
this time it's serious.
They're being led by Oswald Cobblepot, and they ain't taking no guff.
So there's How to Train Your Dragon 3,
Oh, that's it.
3?
How to Train Your Dragon. Yeah, that's what.
Aren't they
That's
on, like,
what
the
I'm.
12th
Captain
movie?
Marvel,
Dumbo.
Dumbo.
No, I'm more excited for How to Train Your Dragon. That looks great.
Oh, seriously, haven't they had like 3 or 4 movies? How is it 3?
Yeah, that's the
No.
third.
No,
this
No,
is
they have
gonna
a
be
lot
the
of
third
Netflix
one.
content.
Yeah,
okay.
this is going to be the third one.
So they did a show on Netflix.
Right, I know that. I thought there had been more movies.
But they did a holiday movie that was for Netflix.
The holiday
as well.
special
Yeah.
with Harvey Korman and Art Carney,
They brought
Yeah.
back B. Arthur.
B. Arthur.
And all of the Wookiees on Kashyyyk.
And it was Dragon Life Day. But yeah, there was a lot of things talked about at San Diego Comic-Con. I really didn't keep up with a lot of it
I didn't
because
this year either. I was too busy.
well, and there was no big Marvel stuff. I
All
did
you care
see.
about is the Marvel stuff.
Well, I mean, like the DC stuff, like I like watching the trailers and stuff. Like I watched the Aquaman trailer right as soon as it
Yeah.
came out. But
Shit 3 times in a row.
it's something like with Marvel's Hall H schedule, when they would live stream stuff, I was on the live stream like an hour before, just in
Right.
case they turn the cameras on early.
Right.
Yeah.
Trying to get that nip slip.
What did you
Yeah.
guys think about that Godzilla trailer?
I loved it.
That looks fantastic. Have you seen?
Looks like a
you
lot
haven't
of
seen the new
fan
Godzilla?
service.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's got Mothra. It's got the
Rodan.
3-headed dragon guy. I can't remember
Rodan.
his name.
Rodin?
Yeah.
Have you seen the meme that people made with the Lord of the Rings? It says the beacons of Godzilla have been lit. Putting his head back and then it has Rodan says Rodan will answer.
Yeah. And it's got 11 from Stranger Things.
Yes.
So
Does
No
it have
Bobby
the two
Brown.
little tiny women
For Mothra.
for Mothra? The
I
two
don't
little
know.
twins, the twin ladies?
I don't know.
They
better.
gave me nightmares as a child.
It can be played by Sarah Silverman and her sister.
it's got lots of creatures in it that, like, I think,
That's pretty cool.
like you said, it's a lot of fan service.
I need to rewatch the first
Well, they're
Godzilla.
supposed
Like I
to
was-
eventually tie it into Kong Skull Island and
Yeah.
have the East versus West
So
Yeah.
Kaiju Smackdown.
So this is the thing that I was thinking about, because in the trailer they talk about the Titans that live under the
ocean, under the earth.
under
I
the
thought
earth.
they were getting into like the Rock Titan and the Ice Titan.
Well, and like, so I was wondering, I was like, so would Kong essentially be one of those?
Yeah, he's a Titan.
That's the idea. Who knows if it'll make it that far? If the movie will be successful enough.
I was actually just watching Skull Island yesterday.
I mean, Frankenstein was supposed to start their
Movie
Monsterverse.
monsters.
Yeah, and then
Or so- and Dracula
Untold.
I
Yeah.
liked the Dracula.
yeah,
and then
I
the
liked
Mummy.
the Dracula one.
They just keep
Ugh.
failing.
It was like superhero Dracula.
Yeah.
It was cool, but
Well, and I think the funny thing with
Just make the
monster
Castlevania
universe
series
that
on
they're trying
Netflix.
that they were trying to create, with that Universal was trying to create, is you could tell it was going to be shitty by how hard they were pushing it social media wise.
Yeah.
Like you look at movies like Infinity War, or
They don't
like,
need it.
They'll do one post and then they'll just reshare that post a few days
Yeah.
later.
We're here, deuces.
Yeah, but like every social media post for like The Mummy or I Frankenstein, they like were reaching hard to get people to share their stuff, and it's like it doesn't.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, like isn't it Aaron Eckhart who's
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was the
the
Frankenstein
monster? Yeah,
He was Adam Frankenstein.
I thought it was Frankenstein,
Frankenstein.
but like
And then Luke, what's his name, was Dracula.
Cage.
Yeah. No, the
No.
guy from
I'd
Beauty and
watch
the
that.
Beast.
Beauty and the
Hobbit.
Beast and Hobbit, yeah. Bard.
Luke
I can't think of his last name at the moment.
Evans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only know that because I watched that video of him and somebody else trying to speak Welsh, and they were saying that really long, weird.
they make the best jams.
Welsh. Sorry, all our Welsh listeners.
We just lost the Welsh.
Yep.
The Welsh listenership.
Not my grape
You're
juice.
not a real country.
Oh wait, that's Welch's.
Damn it, James.
All right, so yeah, just you can go online and just search San Diego Comic-Con
Thanks
news.
to the stupid DNA search, I have to admit it's a country because I'm partially from there.
You got some Welsh?
You got some grapes?
Yeah, I
some
got
Welsh in ya?
I'm more of a strawberry man. But yeah. I like jams more
Well-
than jellies.
When you get cranberry, let me know.
No, I won't be calling you.
Do we want to talk about James Gunn for a second?
Yeah, we can talk James Gunn.
I think it's fucked up.
Yeah, it's
His jokes were terrible, but it was fucked up the way they did.
yeah.
Well, and then
No,
okay,
yeah.
so I mentioned this. We kind of talked about this a little last night, and I brought up that they have that Stitch ride at. It's not a ride, but at
Disney World.
that people hate.
Yeah.
I don't
the
know.
one
I've
that,
never been on it.
that took over
Stitch's
the
Great
alien,
Escape. Yeah.
And
The
part of the
alien,
speculation of
ride.
that is the actor that played the alien, Jeffrey Jones. You know, he got busted for molesting children, and
Yeah. They
Disney
still
has
have his
no
voice in.
tolerance for that.
Yeah.
So since this has to do with jokes about kids, I think that might, since they're all so hardline about that. I mean, he didn't molest a kid, but
Yeah, but they haven't taken his voice out of the ride, did they?
I don't know.
And also, they're still using Bobcat Goldthwait, and Bobcat
And
Goldthwait
he's
has been
made
very vocal about
pedophile
this. Yeah,
Jokes
yeah,
in the past.
yeah.
Yeah, but some troll hasn't brought those to the forefront.
Of course.
Yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not defending it. I'm just saying that Disney's kind of
Yeah.
hardlined about that issue.
Yeah, well, and I think the thing that's going to happen now is because Bobcat Goldthwait has said like you should take like he has voluntarily said that he wants his voice taken out. If a right wing person were to come at Disney with all these like, oh, look at all this stuff that he said, I think they'd be like, did you not see when he came out and said that he's
Yeah,
done this in
but
the
James
past.
Gunn
and-
did the same thing. In 2012, he came out and said, I said some shitty things, and Disney still fired him.
Yeah.
That came out before he even started doing the movies.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And Tui made a great point about his beginnings.
He
Yeah.
came from Troma. From
Tromeo and Juliet was his
if you
first
have
movie.
Not seen, like, if you're not familiar with Troma films, watch Toxic Avenger,
Tromeo and Juliet,
like all of those.
Yeah.
They're like, and you'll
Sergeant
get a
Kabuki
sense.
They're
Man,
bloody.
yeah.
They're full of sex.
You'll get
nudity.
like a sense of like the
humor he was coming
environment
from.
that James Gunn arose from, and those
It's
tweets make a
very
lot of sense.
Yeah.
Gross off-color humor.
When
and
he was announced as going to direct a Marvel movie,
Yeah.
I was like, well, they're hiring who?
Yeah.
They're bringing someone from Troma.
Didn't he do
I was
Slither
shocked.
too? He did Slither, right? Yeah.
And that's what
That's another-
That's so
I was
heard
shocked
James
that
Gunn.
they were going to bring someone from Troma to
Yeah.
direct a Marvel.
They're just going to
slash
replace him with
Disney
Lloyd
film.
Kaufman.
He's getting a little on the old side.
He's an old man.
yeah.
He came out with a video, like
Defending him, yeah, I
defending
saw
him
that.
and criticizing
Lloyd
Disney.
Kaufman,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it
Well,
was.
they're,
I think.
they're a family, dude. Troma's.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Tight.
Troma's really tight. I think
The
I think
thing is, like,
Disney.
it is not to be taken like Troma is not to be taken seriously. They
Yeah.
don't make
Oh, no.
serious
No.
films. They're a big joke.
Yeah.
and that's their thing.
To
They
me-
make
But I
campy
think-
jokes.
But I think Disney really they weren't measured in this decision. They didn't think about it. They just reacted, and that's the massive problem because. Yeah, they fired Roseanne, but Roseanne was doing it consistently right now.
Yeah.
Whereas James Gunn really has changed. Like, his tweets have completely changed in the last 10 years.
Well, and I honestly, like I said last night, I think that a big part of this was the merger with Fox.
Yeah.
Like, I
Maybe.
think that was pushing Disney in the direction like we don't want any
We can't
shit
tolerate it.
coming
Yeah.
from anywhere right now.
But here's the problem, and here's the problem that Disney has now created. They are feeding this monster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've kind of set a
that
standard.
now feel
so
like
now
they've
anybody
grown stronger and they have control and
Yeah.
they can bully people and they can get people fired, and now they're going to start doing more of that.
to get other people fired.
I mean, it already happened to Dan Harmon.
yeah,
So Dan Harmon deleted his Twitter before
Yeah.
they had a chance to.
yeah, explode.
So
But his was even worse than James Gunn,
Yeah, it
from
was
what
worse.
I read. I mean, he was
I watched
actually
it.
involved
Yeah,
with.
He made some really, really tasteless short. I didn't see. I only
watched
read
it.
about. But
I mean, if you go to Netflix and you watch Seth Rogen's Alzheimer's thing, Dan Harmon did a short, and it is awful.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
god awful.
yeah, and
I mean,
so
there's now been a precedent set where we can go back 10 years and say, oh, you said this 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You could have been perfect from that point on.
Like-
but just because you
But-
said one
so-
stupid thing 10 years ago, you can be fired.
so here's
that's the scary
Here's
thing.
what I see as the difference between Disney and Adult Swim. The environment that they have at Adult Swim, if somebody came at them and like, one of your show creators did this, they'd be like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like,
I think,
have you not seen all of our shows?
Yeah. And and just
Have you
it
not
pisses
watched
me off.
Metalocalypse?
right.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I don't like what James Gunn tweeted. They were horrible tweets. But like I
Right.
said, it was 10 years ago.
Well, I think like when Bobcat made his statement, he had said that too. He's like, even his brother,
Sean Gunn?
Sean Gunn, he said,
Sean Gunn is Bobcat Goldthwait's brother.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. He changed it to Gunn so people would think he's related to James.
Oh,
But when
That's
Sean Gunn had said
Dar Chasen.
that he was disgusted by
Yeah.
the tweets,
Yeah.
but he knows
He
that
mentioned the trauma. The trauma
yeah, and he's
background.
like, I was shocked when those tweets came out,
But that was the point. They
Yeah.
were supposed to shock people.
and this is what I told Annalisa when the story broke.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you think about it, you look at like the 90s, you look at shock jocks,
Oh,
you look
yeah.
at Howard Stern,
Yeah.
all these people were making jokes just like this. Morning
Yeah.
Zoo hosts were
Yeah.
making jokes
yeah.
very
so
close to
Disney
these
has set a
things.
very bad precedence now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
there's that
now-
article that says that, by firing James Gunn, they've erased the message of Guardians of the Galaxy,
Which
the redemption
is people
story.
screw up
Right.
and you can learn your lesson and move on and do better
Yeah.
things. So it's sad.
And whatever. I mean, James Gunn will do more things.
And like I said last night, like I will still support his movies.
Yeah, and I will still support Guardians of the Galaxy 3 because they've been good stories. And I hope they get Taika Waititi to direct it.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Let him head up the Marvel Cosmic side.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Since he did such a
Anyway,
great
sorry to
job
bring
with
it all
Ragnarok.
down, guys, but
If that were to happen,
I
I want a Korg Netflix series
Yeah.
where
Korg
he's
and
just
Meek.
where he's just starting revolutions everywhere.
Are they just going to reboot Bosom Buddies with Korg
Yes.
and Meek?
That'd be
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
That's great.
So sorry
All right,
to bring
do
it down, but I felt
Do we
needed
want to
to-
talk
No,
about
it's pretty big in the
actual
news.
parenting? Or?
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
talk
so
about
do we need to take a break?
Before we need to take a break, and we need
Oh, yeah.
to remind you that we are part of the Hello Sweetie podcast network with a bunch of friends.
Many friends.
Lots of friends.
So make sure you like the Hello Sweetie podcast network on Facebook so you can keep up to date with all the other podcasts that we are in this network with. And right now, here is a little promo from our friends at the Nighthawks podcast. Where was your whistle?
Hi, everybody. This is Matt.
And I'm Trevor. We're the co-hosts of the Nighthawks podcast, a movie podcast for people who like to stay up late.
We've just joined the Hello Sweetie Podcast Network, expanding our podcast empire and bringing the world to its knees.
Take a seat in the Nighthawks diner with us. We're going to talk to you about movies.
We've got new movies, old movies, movies we love, movies nobody loves.
You can find us on Stitcher, iTunes, and at nighthawkspodcast.com.
Hey, that was pretty good. Do you think they'll listen?
The good ones always do.
And we're back.
Put that skin flute away.
Hey. Where did you get that?
The train store.
Oh.
Cabin Fever.
Oh, okay. Good
I like
store.
that store.
In Trolley Square. You owe us $30. Just
Yep.
kidding. We don't have a fee.
Hey, Kevin, do you want to sponsor us?
Yeah.
Hey, Cabin Fever and everywhere else geeky. You want to sponsor us? You want to give us money? Or stuff?
Get at us.
Yeah, I'll take free
Holla.
things. I don't need money. They can pay me in swag.
Yeah.
But money
That's
too.
where I got
Yeah.
that color change in Black Panther mug.
Oh, yeah?
From Swag?
Yes.
Swag's
Swag
got
and
some
Fever.
good swag.
Swag and fever.
But yeah, like we said before the break, we want to talk some parenting because we are in fact parents.
Are we?
Sometimes.
Are we?
Yeah.
I don't know how good of parents we are, but we're parents.
We have multiplied.
World's
and replenished.
okayest parents.
I'm the world's greatest grandma. You'll understand it later.
Yeah. You'll understand it much later.
Oh.
Go see Ant-Man.
So, what we wanted to talk about today with parenting is in this last legislative session here in Utah, there was a new law passed about free-range parenting that basically you can let your kids out and play without
supervision.
They could be close. Like if you live close to a park, they could walk to the park and play. And
But
it's
what's
not,
the age?
I think
I didn't look.
I think it's 7.
Well,
I think
look up the
it's 7 or 8.
parenting.
It might be 8 because of the whole legislature being tied to the
They
church.
can make their own decisions at that point.
They have
When
the
I
priest
was-
that are 8.
accountable.
When I was like 8,
No, they have
9
the
years
priesthood at
old,
12, James.
I thought they got.
I mean,
they
They're
get
accountable for
baptized
your
again.
actions.
I grew up in Hawaii, and when I was like 8 or 9 years old, I would hop on my bike. I would wake up in the morning and maybe not even see my parents, eat a bowl of cereal,
Well, you were
jump
trapped
on my
by the
bike,
ocean.
and ride my bike to the beach, was like 15 minutes away, and go
So it
swim
said,
at the beach
well,
all
that's
day
in
by
Silver Spring,
myself.
Maryland. In 2015, 2 children ages 10 and 6 were walking home alone from Silver Spring, Maryland. So that's maybe. I'm looking for it.
Newsflash,
Keep
people:
talking.
crimes against children is not a new thing.
Yeah, and
It's
that's
no
the
more
thing.
prevalent now than it's ever been. We just talk about it now.
Yeah,
Stupid.
like I've talked about this before with my parents and
Like, yeah, of course I
with
fear for the
Annalisa.
safety of my kids, but there's only so much you can do.
Right, and like we've talked about how when I was a kid, it was you can go out but be home when the street lights come on.
Yeah.
But your mom
when the sun
always
goes down.
encouraged you to take candy from strangers and accept rides.
That's true. My mom is really the matriarch of ride sharing. Because even like where my dad was like, no, don't take rides from strangers. She's like, one day you're gonna have to. And now look where we are now.
This doesn't really give an age from what I can find.
Well, okay, so
I mean, be smart. Don't let your 2-year-old go out and walk themselves to the park.
I know.
Obviously.
I noticed this with my own parenting. Like I said, I grew up and like I'd wake up in the morning and just take off, and come home at dark, or come home in the middle of the day sometime, grab some lunch, grab a sandwich, and then take off again. My parents didn't know where I was. I was like riding around on the street. I was, being a kid.
Our parents didn't take the summer off just because we were out of school.
I was now that like when I became a parent, I was kind of a helicopter parent, and I've kind of been.
I am.
So,
I have to admit, I am very much a
I don't know where
parent.
that changed, and like why. Do you think there was like a big scare of?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Like
you
I
look
said,
at
we talk about these things more
like
now. We don't pretend they don't
kidnapping
happen.
and-
yeah. I think
they're in the news
and
more.
abuse.
Yeah.
And
yeah, and you see a lot of things. Like I think when you're kids, so like when we were kids, the 24-hour news cycle was still just getting started when we were
Right.
kids.
Yeah.
So, the only time that parents would hear about like things happening across the country was when the Sunday paper came out.
Right.
Yeah.
And my parents never read the Sun. My dad went sports section and the funny pages.
Uh-huh.
The rest got thrown
Well,
out.
and then somebody like John Walsh was kind of a novelty because like it wasn't
Yeah, with-
something that got
Yeah,
With
it
Adam
was,
Walsh,
it was a TV
Adam
show
Walsh.
kind of like America's Most Wanted became.
Which I'm not trying to downplay the tragedy of his family, but it's
Yeah.
just not something you heard about.
Yeah. My parents, they got a little bit more helicoptery when the John Benet Ramsey stuff happened. And that
You're
was
not pretty or
because...
pale enough.
Well, I am a little bit.
That's what I said. It's like, Mom, I'm not white. So
Yeah.
nothing's going to happen to me.
Nobody wants a Mexican kid. I was a little bit older. Like I'm a little bit older, and I remember the Adam Walsh.
I remember that
story.
too.
And there was like
Yeah.
a made-for-TV movie.
Yeah, I think our parents were probably
at
right,
that same
right
age.
in the,
And I remember
yeah.
my mom having a talk with me about specifically about playing in the toy section.
Yeah.
And to make sure that I was in sight of her, and
Yeah.
she told me that, but I still would hop on my bike and take off.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, I would go. I was probably 7 and 8, and I would go with my friends all the time, either across the street to this
Yeah.
place. There was a huge field and pond. We built tree houses, or we'd walk over to the local Maverick and buy our garbage pail kids.
My best friend lived 2.5 blocks away, and I would just walk over there.
Yeah.
Like 8 years old.
Well, and this is the thing for me. So I grew up in a really small town in Colorado. So there was...
You knew everybody.
A quiet
Yeah.
mountain town.
No, we were in the plains.
Oh.
But yeah, it was a everybody knows everybody kind of vibe.
James was the Mexican Cartman.
Uh-huh.
It was.
In,
You
the
will
South
respect
Park.
my authority.
Man, give me some pie.
God damn it, Kyle! And actually, what's funny is I did have a friend named Kyle, and I would talk to him like I was Cartman anytime he did something that pissed me off. God damn it, Kyle!
So we've moved from a very non-free range parenting neighborhood to a very free range parenting neighborhood. These kids are out all the time just playing and running around.
I think it's
in
the neighborhood too, maybe
Yeah.
that I was living in because
Yeah.
So you live in an area that is
surrounded by kids, suburban,
and,
surrounded by kids,
quiet street,
quiet.
lots of-
Yeah.
See, and I think the thing with me is because my house is on a really busy street.
It is.
See, and my house
and-
before this was. It was on
And
that
I'd
main street.
mentioned the guy who was crip walking the other day,
Right.
Yeah.
or crip dancing.
sea walking.
While
He's
he was
tweak dancing.
Yeah, while he was walking down to probably to throw his needles away.
Yeah.
I mean,
How
we do
responsible.
we do have a needle disposal thing on North Temple by our house, so
Mostly because of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Admit it. You throw all your diabetes needles in there.
And me.
I don't know. I found needles in my front yard.
I know
one
you
day.
told me about that.
I told you it got away from me.
But so there's reasons why I wouldn't let Jay go out and play on the street. But if he's in the fenced yard, we have a pin that we usually put in the gate. That if he goes out in the front yard, he takes the dogs with him.
Yeah.
I'm usually in the kitchen and I
So you
can
can
see the
watch
front
him.
yard.
Yeah, now that I think about it, you bringing that up, Sarah, I think my helicopter parenting is a result of where I've lived. Because when, let's see, when I was married, the first house that we lived in was in West Valley, and it was like a quiet street. And but the kids would go and play outside all the time.
Yeah.
But then we moved from there to this down ghetto part of Provo, and I didn't trust the neighborhood, so I never let them wander freely. And I think I've lived in apartments and just
We've
places
lived in
that I
the
just
same area
don't-
of Provo at the same time.
Yeah, we figured that out.
Oh, wow.
It's so rough. The missionaries drink tea.
They have to just to deal with it.
Oh my
They would
god.
come to our house and drink coffee.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I've noticed since moving to this new house, we have this huge field next to us. Like, we don't have any busy roads next to us. All the kids are running around. I feel a little bit safer in letting Lily out. I mean, and she's probably one of the younger kids in a group of a lot of older kids, like 8 and 9 and 10 years old. So I feel a little bit more relaxed in terms of letting her just go out and be a kid.
Right.
Like, I still like, if she wants to walk down the street to see if a friend can play, I will usually at least go out to the sidewalk and watch her walk to the friend's house and come back. But she's still little. She's only 6, so...
Yeah.
Right. Well, and, like, I think that there's a line that needs to be drawn. So, like, there have been cases, like, in 2012, there's a case in Texas...
There was a case in Maryland that I just mentioned.
Yeah, there's a case in Texas where this lady was letting her kids play in the front yard, a fenced area, and she was arrested for neglecting her kids. Like, they said it was neglect. And she's like, how is it neglect?
Well, unless
she
they were
was
chained out there for days with no
yeah.
food.
Yeah.
And not only that, looking at the story, it looks like she was actually in a lawn chair on the porch.
Watching your kids play.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
So, I mean, there's...
We're not kangaroos, folks. We don't have pouches for our children.
Yeah.
Yet.
So this reminds me. So like my friends Jeff and Amber, they live on like a
can
quiet
we do
street.
marsupials? Can we evolve into marsupials?
I call if we do that, my name's Rocco. But my friends Jeff and Amber, they live on a quiet street. Their neighbors have a daughter that's about the same, or young girl that's the same age as their daughter, and they're always going back and forth. And it's it's just something that you're not worried about. But I don't think like at this age I wouldn't let Jay walk over to our friends Jeff and Amber's house because they live like 10 blocks away.
That's a little far to walk.
Yeah, I mean he's wanted to, but I'm like no. You're not walking by yourself.
I would just worry about how busy your street is.
Yeah, and that's what I worry about.
Somebody
especially,
not paying attention and who's
and
crossing
especially
the street.
because that street, our intersection on 9th and 6th North, there have been so many pedestrians hit in that area. And it's because it's right off the freeway,
Right.
Yeah.
so people are coming off
They're
the
in a
freeway
hurry.
going 80 miles an hour. And
So
then,
here's the thing. Utah has no home alone age. So
Yeah.
you can basically leave a 6-month-old baby alone in a house and you will not get in trouble.
Well, I mean, I think you would get in trouble for that.
But unattended in a vehicle, child younger than 9 is left without supervision of someone at least 9 years old where the conditions present a risk of hyperthermia, hypothermia, or dehydration. That's the only law right now, other than child neglect.
So legally, I could leave my 10-year-old home to watch the 8-year-old,
Yeah.
and
that's fine.
Not that
So
I
what?
would.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
No,
that.
no,
but
no, I just
what,
wanted to give
look,
laws
I had a
to Utah.
question. What age do all of you feel comfortable leaving your kids at home? So Lily's 7 now?
She's 6.
She's
Just
6.
turned 6.
Joe,
Jay's
Jay is
7.
7.
I kind of went with 10 to 12, depending on their
Yeah,
comfortability.
that's where I would go to.
I
10 to 12.
started leaving my kids home alone like around 9.
Yeah. It really-
The mermaid started babysitting when she was like 9 or 10.
Yeah, I started babysitting
And
when I was 10.
My rule has
so-
always been if they can, when they can wipe their own butt and microwave a burrito,
At the same time.
Yeah.
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 One before the other. Please wash your hands. But if you can wipe your own butt and microwave a burrito, I can leave you home alone.
Yeah, I think
because that way they can use
least
the
teach 'em how
bathroom
to use
and
the
they
fire
can feed
extinguisher.
themselves.
if you feel like you can, like, right now, I don't feel like I can trust Lily to leave her home alone.
Yeah.
You know, she's
And
still
every
like
kid's different, right?
Yeah, but yeah, I think you have to trust your kid. You have to go back to our
Well, and,
usual
like-
story. Trust
there's
your
not-
kid.
there's not a standard.
Know your kid.
And I
Yeah.
think like before, like I don't think I'd leave Jay home until like he was about probably 10.
Well,
but
here's-
like I think
got
it
a story.
depends on where I go. So like there's
Yeah.
a Smith's right by our house. If I just need to go grab something from the store,
and
it
I-
might be, hey, I need to run to
And
the
I
store
used
if you don't want to
like,
go.
with Mermaid, I would I tested. So we were like
Yeah.
the first time that we were going to leave her home alone. We tested it. We're like, okay, we're just going to go grocery shopping, and we'll be gone for about an hour, and we'll be back.
Yeah.
And we're trusting you, and like put all this kind of like built her up to trust her to be home.
Yeah.
alone. We left, went grocery shopping, came back, and she was in the kitchen sweeping and cleaning the house to show and prove
Aw, that she could do it.
be trusted.
See, and 2 or 3 weeks ago, I ordered a pizza and I accidentally hit cash instead of card. So I'm like, shit, Lily's here. We had like 10 kids over. They were all playing in the front yard. I'm like, I am going to grab my purse. I'm going to run to the gas station, which is like less than 5 minutes away. I'll be back in less than 5 minutes. And I just ran to the gas station, got cash, and came back. And they were all fine. I just said, Lily, you stay with the big kids. Just stay in the front yard. I'll be right back. And she was fine. But that was like probably 5 to 7 minutes tops.
Yeah.
So that I felt okay with because she was with a bunch of other kids and I was just going very quickly. But other than that, I wouldn't.
Yeah, when my 10-year-old was, maybe 6.
Mm-hmm.
The younger one was at daycare, and the mother had to go pick her up, and she was playing a game and thought, okay, I'm going to go pick up your sister. You know, it's just right around the corner. Are you going to be okay? You know, gave her the choice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll be fine. So she goes to pick up the younger one and come back. And, like, I guess not too long after she had left, my daughter, like it really hit her. It got real. So this was in the winter. So she puts on her mom's snow boots and is, like, starting to go across the street. Because we know a lot of the neighbors. Mm. Was going across the street because she didn't feel safe. But, you know, at least she knew to go to someone that she...
Yeah.
Yeah, but she wasn't ready. She thought she was, but she wasn't ready.
Yeah, so I mean, it really like with everything, it depends on the kid. It depends on your.
Oh, yeah, she's very timid.
But, so listeners, what do you think? Like, what ages do you feel comfortable leaving your kids home alone? And do you have any stories or funny stories about that happening, or any words of wisdom or advice for
no shaming
the other listeners?
Hell, I fell asleep once when Lily was little, and she decided to paint her room with diaper green. So.
Send us a message on Facebook, Geek Parenting.
I've had that one done with both diaper filling and nail
diaper
polish.
Filling.
Yes.
Oh, nail polish. Oh.
Luckily, she just painted herself.
Yeah, the Desitin was a pain to clean up because it's that oil-based.
Yeah.
It was awful.
We should probably wrap it up. We've been at this for a while.
One more thing I was going to say first real quick. And something that's a little different with us is that... So Jay has his own tablet. Yeah. And he has an iPad. And
getting busy out there.
Good Lord.
Yeah, and my wife and I both have iPhones. So there's a way for him to contact us if we have to go to the store for something. And if he's, like, freaking out about something, he can call us and say, hey... I'm freaking out. And it's like, okay, just leave the cart, go back home. But yeah, so I mean, like, I think depending on the technology that your kids have makes a difference. Because when we were kids, we didn't have cell phones or anything. I had a beeper. I took my dad's beeper.
Yeah.
But
how urban of you.
I know. I mean, we're not all like... When we're free-range parenting, we're not... doing the balloon boy thing. We're not building a weather balloon and letting our kid climb in it.
Speak for yourself.
The kid wasn't even in it anyway.
Yeah, he's in the basement.
I think that dad got arrested for neglect because he didn't know where his kid was.
Kids wander though. They'll.
Well, I've told you the stories about the assassin.
Yeah.
Losing him everywhere.
Yeah.
And the ultimate was losing him at Disneyland.
Oh, geez.
And I just thought I was gonna die. I was going to die.
Oh, my gosh.
That was the most terrifying.
Yeah.
I think he was missing for about 15 minutes or so. 20 minutes. And,
that's why, just in case, we always put our names and phone numbers on the back of our kids.
Super smart. Yeah. Really, really smart.
Get a little name tag sticker and throw it on there.
I'm not ashamed to admit it. I put a tracker on my kid.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, when the youngest was really little, I straight up leashed her. I'm like, she wanders. The older one doesn't, but this one wanders, and I'm like, I am not doing that. So
what is why do people have an issue with the leash? I've never had a problem with the leash.
Yeah, I've never had a problem with
I would rather...
Why do people have a problem
rather
with
us
the
both
leash?
lose a little dignity than lose my child.
Yeah,
is,
for sure.
Is that what it is? Is because people
thing.
think that you're treating your kid like an
Most
animal?
of the times
or?
the kids don't even care.
But I will
she
say
loved
though,
it. That little monkey that
I
she
leashed all my kids.
I will say though, I had a friend who, when she would babysit her nephew, they had to leash their nephew.
Yeah.
But when she would babysit, if we went anywhere like to the county fair or something, she would be like,
"There's no difference between leashing your kid and strapping him into a stroller."
Yeah, but like she's like, "Okay, now sit," and the kid would sit like he was a dog, and she's like, "Okay, do you want a treat?"
Lily would do the same thing.
And there are people like walking by like sticking their nose like, this is hilarious. This is comedy gold.
You're playing. They can't play imaginary, use their imagination.
It's like, you know how many times Jay has played a game that he's created called Star Wars Puppies? Come on. Let your kids play.
Let them play. Let them play. Well, Well,
All right, stick a fork in it.
stick a fork in it. Make sure you email us and
Contact
message us
at
with
geekparentingpodcast.com.
questions and topics that you want to talk about.
And rate and review us.
Yes, and keep an eye out for new content. We're going to I think we're going to start putting a lot of more content out on the
Yeah, we're going to do
on the
some
interwebs.
I have some
articles,
videos that I
video
recorded
gaming.
last year
And
that I
if you have
still
a
haven't
YouTube
released.
channel,
Yeah.
quit telling me to like and subscribe. Fuck off. I will if I want to.
Damn
I'm so
it.
tired of that.
Give me a
Every time,
thumbs
like and
up, Johnny.
subscribe.
I want a thumbs up. Give
Johnny,
me a
will
thumbs
you
up.
like and subscribe to my
Fuck off.
channel? Please.
I'll like and subscribe your mom.
Oh.
Hey, make sure you go to iTunes, give us a rating and a review. It really helps the podcast out.
We're
If
also
you
on
do-
Spotify, so
If you do
you can do it
enjoy
on
us,
Spotify too.
yes, listen on Spotify. But those iTunes ratings really help the podcast.
Yep.
If you can go on there and let us know what you think.
I'm the world's greatest grandma.
Did you just boot me with a lightsaber?
Up, and orale.
Because I said so.
Here's some money. Go see a Star Wars.